Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching The Witcher, Season 2, Episode 6.
Dear friend.
Is that anything specific, or I'm going to attribute it to Roach?
Well, yes, but also that's how Geralt introduced Yennefer to Cirilla. This is my dear friend. And she was like,
And then she moved. She Simpson.
And then she
Homer Simpson back into the
moonwalked out of there.
So Ciri has blood on her hands, and I'm not talking about Roach.
Yeah. That wasn't on her.
Wasn't it?
Oh.
Rude. I don't understand.
I'm a little pissed too.
I don't understand the plot, the point.
I don't get it.
Like they don't need to not have a horse. What were they getting around to efficiently? And he had a name and a personality, I guess, but still, it was rude. It was also filmed very well. The budget was saved for that fight scene.
Yeah. Because
it was very sort of like the dragon, and then Roach was like, ah, and then Ciri was like, oh no. And then there was a commercial break, and we come back, and Roach is laying there, and it's just like, I don't know.
It was not my favorite part of the episode.
I appreciate the attempts at stakes because we do need them.
Yeah.
But it felt slightly unearned for me.
Well, there was a birth in addition to the death in this episode. I don't care. It was fine.
But razor's edge with the, I feel like
I'm like right,
wafer thin ice
right here with the elves. I'm going back and forth with the elves because I feel like they're really not helping their own cause
by being total drips.
They're being such a bag of dicks and just like sort of rude and stupid. And I'm just like, I don't care about you at all.
So we had that cool. They were saying the word Chernabog, which is like a Slavic god / demon from a Disney animated Fantasia.
It's also Alan Dale is Chernabog. Oh no, is it Peter Stormare is Chernabog? Yeah.
Slavic god.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the name of the dragon or that was the type of dragon.
I think it was like the type of thing.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I don't think they have individual names.
Well, the Bruxa did. But she was
like a person some of the time.
The Fantastic Beasts of it all is kind of one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
But it's also my favorite part of that movie series, and also not what that movie series is about.
Unfortunately,
yeah. I find it very interesting, the combination of things we've heard of before and things we haven't.
Sure.
And where the twine shall meet, because again, the Bruxa, it's like when I Googled that, it basically said it's a vampire. Yeah. And I was like, so is it like a subspecies of vampire, or was that just like a helpful connection? I don't know. I find it interesting.
It's probably more of a helpful connection.
Well, because we said an episode ago, she flat out said the word mermaid. And then in this episode,
unicorn.
They said unicorn, and it was slightly loaded. Dare I say, I want a unicorn?
Maybe Ciri rides into battle on a unicorn.
Pure of heart, and there seems to be a question as to Ciri's merits, and I think it's pretty unearned to anyone who's ever met her.
Yeah, okay. Especially because she was so sassy in this episode. I'm obsessed. I've like really enjoyed her and Freya Allen's portrayal of her this whole season, but like this episode especially with
talk about heavy lifting.
Yeah, and especially with the kid. What was the kid's name?
Just Yara.
Yara or something.
Yari.
He was so nervous, but she just was sort of like the whole time, like, are you good?
He was odd to me because I was like, this can't be like a love interest, and it wasn't. It was because he was going to be killed, and we needed stakes.
Well, he's bleeding. He might be okay, but also
depends on how much time we're spending in this place.
Yeah, not very much, because Geralt is surely going to leave immediately now that Yennefer has taken her through a portal.
Melitelli, I think that's what I wrote down.
The place? I think it's something like that, at least.
I also have a note that says, no, not Reince's pretty face. That was the only thing he was good for. And now it's like, Yennefer was on her quest to get Ciri and bring her to the Deathless Mother. And Reince is on his quest to get Ciri and bring her to Lydia for whoever Lydia. They had a loaded conversation.
It's also because that very last interaction that we have between Tissaia and Triss was like, if her blood falls into the wrong hands, it will be the end of the world, essentially. So it's like Lydia.
So does that mean her, or does that mean like an ounce of blood?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Ryan stole some of the blood.
Well, he stole some of the potion. Like, her blood is in it, but it's not only her blood.
Okay.
So it's like the potion that makes witchers, and I think they need her blood. Okay. And I think depending, it might be the type of thing where, like, they can control her through her blood, kind of a thing, if they have access to her.
Well, and she's getting more powerful.
She is, yeah. Yeah, she did some magic this episode.
Yennefer taught her. Yennefer's at the very least conflicted.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't love needless conflict, but I mean, at this point, and as I've said, the way we're sort of blowing through plot, it's kind of whatever.
It's also, though, the type of thing where it's getting to the point in stories that frustrates me, where I'm like, look, Geralt is pretty pragmatic. You're pretty pragmatic. Ciri's pretty pragmatic. Why don't the three of you, why weren't you talking about all this out while you were having tea and just be like, look, cards on the table. I'm out of my magic.
We're establishing unicorns that aren't going to pay off.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like that's the kind of conversation where it's like, I lost my magic. If I take her somewhere, I can keep it or get it back. Like, what can we do here to broker a deal? If we all go together, maybe we'll all win.
Someone in there had heard of the Deathless Mother.
Yeah.
And would be like, wait a minute, did you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, okay, so I have 4 things. Ethylene. What is ethylene and what is Emir?
They are both, I think, when I kept saying Mother, Maiden, Crone.
Yeah.
But I think they're like 3 entities. They're like 3 old
So they're
gods.
like deities.
Yeah.
Okay, because Cahir is certain that Emir is coming to Sintra or Zentera.
Well, the white flame is coming to Sintra.
I thought he said Emir. So what is the white flame? Have we laid eyes on any of these things?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Unless the dude is the white flame. Unless Flamefucker is the white flame.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And then what is the Wild Hunt?
Well, that was apparently what we saw in the sky.
The tableau of riders, but like, what is?
I think more than anything, I think it might be like a beacon of the end times or something.
So like the 4 horsemen.
Sort of.
Okay. I feel like I've heard that phrase somewhere.
The Wild Hunt? Yeah, it's like, it happens.
Standard.
It's a thing.
Fantasy jargon.
Oh, The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt.
Oh.
It's a folklore motif that occurs in the folklore of various Northern European cultures.
It was in Sabrina. Was it Sabrina?
Yes.
We heard about it somewhere.
Yeah. Typically involve a chase led by a mythological figure escorted by a ghostly or supernatural group of hunters engaged in pursuit. The leader of the hunt is often a name figure associated with Odin in Germanic legends.
Or was it American Gods?
Both, I think. I think there was a Wild Hunt.
We recently, recently being in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Herod, Cain, Gabriel, or the devil, fairies, Valkyries, or elves. It's a lot. It's everything. Yeah.
So I'm actually completely on.
Yeah, you're good.
So our current hypothesis is that Ithilien and Emir are deity-like figures.
Yeah.
We met Neneke?
She was like the leader at the place they were. She was cool. Yes. Again, it's the weekend of, and so none of these people's like credits are actually on IMDb, so I'm having a hard time with it.
But she was kind of shaman-esque, and she is one of the myriad figures.
Oh, the whole time I was like, she is fucking familiar.
Who is she?
She is Lady Danbury from Bridgerton.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She's a sassy bitch.
I was like, I like this one. I've seen her. But yes, like the myriad figures in this world, she has a history with Geralt, where they probably studied together or something.
Well, he says that Vesemir sent him there when he was like 10. To study.
Ciri had like an orb that she had to figure out if it did something, and then it glowed, and then they portaled with it. They were in that room for like longer than they needed to be, and they couldn't figure out how to get out. And I'm like, you got an orb and a stained glass window. I got a way out.
Huck the orb.
I was like, glass window. Come on, people. But Istrid went to, it was like a library type situation.
Yes.
With Ellis and Finn and Esmeralda the cat.
Yes.
And they were lots of metaphorical finger guns.
So, okay, I'll tell you what this reminded me of, actually, is it really reminded me of that like third to last episode of the first season of Game of Thrones where Ned realizes that all of the kids don't belong to Robert because they're going through genealogy reports of like the kings and queens, and they basically found out which we already mostly knew, but they found out that Queen Calanthe like hid her elvish ancestry.
There were a lot of words in this that we have been hearing ad nauseum, but all of the characters were like, whoa, what? Yeah. And I was kind of like,
very that Keenan skit from SNL.
Dying.
It was a lot like that.
To quote Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they found out Queen Calanthe had elven
ancestry
blood
somewhere
and knew that and hid it, and as such hated elves. I mean, that checks. Open a history book, but
no, it's that kind of thing. And then also it was like there was like a mistranslation at some point, and so it was like the elves didn't create a weapon; they created like what was it?
It's not a weapon; it's a tool. A warrior.
Warrior.
I need Amy Adams to come in and diagram the plot on a dry erase board. Something was called Laura Doreen. I think that might have been what Ciri saw. The elven. It's like a Laura Doreen is like a mythical figure. I think.
I think. There's I am getting with you on the jargon because look, here's the thing: is like I am
determined.
Yeah, I followed the jargon in season 1, and this season, every single episode, there's like 3 more words of jargon, and I'm like, I already learned what I needed to learn. Stop making me learn more. And so I'm getting a little frustrated with it. Again, I can feel out the vibe of like the episodes and like
you just listen for the music cues. You know that was good and or bad what just happened. But I'm at the point now where it's like I'm so on edge that because like I wrote down the orbiculum, which I guess was the orb. Yeah. Because the word orb is in it, which that's helpful.
Yeah.
That is fantasy jargon that I can handle. But there was an L. So the book of elves and humans. Right. That's where it's all making sense. Do we need to know what the Michelet brothers were? They showed up with Reince when he was like,
I don't know. They seemed pretty useless. Geralt got through them real quick. They showed up with the flame.
I forgot her name, the director. She turned it out with that fight scene, literally. And
her name is Louise Hooper.
She said, because I was joking when we were watching it. She was like, bring me my toolkit. Yeah. That's what we should have done. Is we should have Will in here with the cameras being like, just zoom in on me and zoom out on Kristen.
It'll be great. It'll be perfect.
I think that's all we need to talk about. We talked about the elf birth. Cahir is being shisty with Fringilla.
And the White Flame is coming
to
Sintra.
Sort of appropriately. I didn't like Fringilla, like, ever. And I'm finally in a place where I'm like, okay, I feel like...
And now she's about to get, like, smacked down, obviously. Yeah.
This is a very one step too far type of a show. And for me, she's sort of the step too far where I'm sort of like,
Really? Her?
No, I'll take that back. But because also the Dara, maybe. Yeah, he's in play. I feel like
he got a new hairdo.
I feel like that SNL skit with the what's her name?
The like name your wife's friend or something. Yeah,
or name your friend's wife.
Yeah,
and I just feel like John Mulaney when he's just like Laura, Dara, Yara, Mara. Like I'm just like that's kind of in my brain what my brain is like handing to me as I'm trying to have these conversations.
That's a good one.
So. Okay, well, I think we're going to have dinner and then watch the next one. So trust, we'll let you know how it went.
Oh, yeah. Bye.